Tease on, monsieur.
Listen, you. Yeah, you.
What?
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to
You're
the...
pointing right at the camera, and I'm right there, so...
Not you.
And now
you.
you're waggling your finger, and you've done that before.
Yes, Look, pal.
And that's how the other one started.
Please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and or follow This Is True Really News. And tell all your friends about it. And tell them they can pick up on us at Breaker, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Stitcher.
This is True Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true, as far as you know.
In Taiwan, companies are required to give newlyweds 8 days of paid leave. Okay, remember we had the guy who had the 35 girlfriends to get all the presents? Dude, on his level right here. Taiwan, you got to give 8 days of paid leave to newlyweds.
Okay.
So an unnamed bank employee in Taipei claimed 32 days of leave over 37 days last year, according to the Agence France Presse. The AFP, it's just easier.
Yeah.
Because I don't speak Francis. The man and his wife, if you're counting, got married 4 times. 4 times 8 would be. Which means they got divorced
3 times.
3 times. Which means they got 8 days of leave for each wedding. So the bank did what the bank did. They went to the city labor department and said, this is not right. And the city labor department, obviously from Minnesota, sided with the employee and fined the bank about $670 for violating the regulation. As you may have guessed, that must spark just a hint, a skosh, a smidge of public outcry. After all that criticism, the labor department revoked the fine to, quote, recognize a mistake and improve. Good luck with that, dude. Yeah. Respect.
Kevin Andre McKenzie, a 36-year-old Guyanese resident, flew into JFK International Airport in New York the other day.
Were his arms tired?
And yes, something was really off about him, so customs officers pulled him aside for an examination. Shortly after the exam began, he was arrested for smuggling 35 live finches in hair curlers from Guyana for singing contests in New York City.
Huh?
Yep. These are the kind of birds that they enter into singing contests in Brooklyn and Queens. 2 finches sang, a judge picks the bird with the best voice. And as you can imagine, a lot of gambling goes on at the...
No, there's wagering involved?
At the recitals, yes. A winning finch can fetch, get this, $10,000.
I'm surprised you got winning finch can fetch out in like one try.
Guyanese
10
finch.
grand?
Yeah, $10,000 for a winning finch.
Wow.
Guyanese finches are believed to be better singers, which explains all the curlers and the smuggling and stuff.
And why, Guyana is such a hot spot for musical birds.
Exactly.
What happens to the losing finch? Cat food?
Right. Maybe. They're not very big.
Well, 2 then. Police in Naples, Florida, looking for a woman identified only as Rosalia. Rosalia is a self-described witch, suspected of swindling about $100,000 or more from 10 victims. Now, I did the math. That's a lot. Authorities were first alerted to the scam on March 14th when a man called to report that Rosalia had disappeared with about $29,500 of his money. The man said, according to WBBH TV, the man said he had responded to a flyer advertising Rosalia's witchcraft services.
And who can't use a little witchcraft every
now and again. I mean, it worked for witchcraft. She allegedly told the man she saw something dark in his future and gave him 3 eggs to put under his bed as he slept. When he brought them back the next day, she waved the eggs over his head and face, then opened them to reveal one was filled with blood, one with needles, and a third with worms. She instructed the man to bring her all the money he had so she could bless it and multiply it at her temple in Fort Myers, promising to return it the next day. Guess what happened?
This guy gave it to her.
Yeah, and guess where Rosalia is? No one knows.
Central America, likely.
I was she wouldn't be in Florida. Let's see. Where else would be nice? Hawaii might be a pleasant place to visit.
Hawaii is lovely.
Police have identified more victims in the course of their ongoing investigation. 100. So it's Gullible's travels is what we're doing here.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes. Medical charts.
Oh, no.
Many years ago, the patient had frostbite of the right shoe.
Did they have to cut it off?
Maybe.
The whole shoe.
The lab test indicated abnormal lover function.
I'm just sitting here quietly.
Patient is mildly agitated, but good in bed.
Are these the same ones?
I don't know.
I wouldn't think so now that one had problems with liver function and the other was agitated but good in bed.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how that might work out.
Yeah, I don't. Not even thinking about that now.
Exactly. Discharge status, alive, but without permission. And
My
finally,
grandpa did that once.
did he? Did
Yeah.
he really?
My dad came to visit him,
Yeah.
and Grandpa put his clothes on and made Earl take him home. When I got home,
There's Grandpa.
Grandpa was smiling with a beer in front of him, sitting at our kitchen table. Dad was sitting with a beer in front of him on the other side of the table, looking a little sheepish. Only time I've ever saw my father look that way. My mother, on the other hand, as I walked through the door, looked at me, said something pleasant, but her face was very red and there was a vein in her forehead. I was only in third grade, so I decided, you know what?
I'm just going to get the heck out of here.
I want to take my snack and go downstairs. Thank you very much.
Finally, the patient had waffles for breakfast and anorexia for lunch.
You can buy that now?
Apparently.
It's not very filling.
This is true, really news. Send email to TiTR@netradio.network.